San Luis Rey horsemen begin to recover from fire. Thoroughbred horsemen have a special kind of dry, sometimes biting humor. If there was any indication healing from the devastating fire at San Luis Rey Training Center December 7th was beginning, it was the return of humor the morning of December 10 at Del Mar, where the majority of evacuated horses and horsemen have been relocated. With the Del Mar main track open for light training for the second day since the evacuation, the backside stand was a meeting point for some of the trainers on the grounds, as well as Southern California racetrack officials. Balin, equine death toll from San Luis Rey fire at 46. As the first of about 40-45 horses made it to the track to jog Sunday morning, trainer Gary Mandela, who didn't have horses at San Luis Rey, but traveled down to Del Mar to help trainer Michelle Dales, was in a conversation with Del Mar Racing Secretary David Jerkins. "So when are you going to open for turf works?" Mandela prodded Jerkins, as they both overlooked the Seaside racetrack, which currently has a scraped turf course nearly as brown as the dirt main track. Not too long after, trainer Sal Gonzalez and Diagonal's assistant, Leandro Mora, shared stories about their horrific experiences at San Luis Rey, but the humor consistently snuck in. The conversation shifted to the 2006 Gulf News Dubai Golden Shaheen, G1, in which Gonzalez's proud Tower 2 defeated Onel's eventual champion sprinter Thaur Zacco. "Ah, he beat me right at the wire," Moore said as he gestured toward Gonzalez. "We were celebrating in Arriba, Mexico. Everybody thought I won. I was on the 4th floor and I almost fell off the thing from jumping," Gonzalez said, to Moore's delight. "I couldn't get in the elevator because it was so packed, but I got to the bottom first before the elevator running down the stairs." Moore later joked that he asked O'Neill in recent weeks if he was sending him down to San Luis Rey to retire him. The horses who went to the track Sunday came from the barns of O'Neill, Gonzalez, Adam Kitchingman, and Brian Kosuk, and Gonzalez and Moore chirped at each exercise rider as they approached the gap to exit the track. "Está bien?" Moore asked repeatedly in Spanish. The horses who went to the track came at a slow drip, simply because there are only so many licensed exercise riders on the grounds, so there was never more than 4 or 5 on the track. Moore sent most of the horses to the track about 32, while the others injured or still recovering from the O'Neill San Luis race string were walked or cared for in their stalls. Later in the morning, Jerkins and Santa Anita Park Racing Secretary Rick Hammerl called a meeting with horsemen and about 50 showed up. A number of issues were discussed at the open-air meeting just outside Del Mar's barn area racing office. A local doctor advised horsemen to monitor their barn workers for respiratory issues from smoke inhalation and headaches, which could be related to carbon monoxide exposure. Multiple trainers expressed a need for on-site medical care, for both physical and mental ailments, because backstretch workers are unlikely to leave the grounds to seek help. Others expressed a need for tack. Several trainers and barn workers lost all or nearly all of their equipment in the fire. Trainer Cliff Size said he can't send any of his horses to the track because he doesn't have saddles. "All I really have are 2 shanks," Size said. The assembled group recommended rather than having people donate tack directly that may not suit specific needs to ask potential donors to contribute to the National Horsemen's Benevolent and Protective Association, which has been tasked with addressing tack needs for San Luis Rey horsemen. Eric Hamelback, the CEO of the National HBPA, said donations can be made to nationalbpa.com, but to ensure donations get to the right fund, asked donors note to send the money to the San Luis Rey TAC Fund. Moore stepped forward midway through the meeting to voice a need for donated funds to be directed to the medical bills for trainers Martine Bellick and Joe Herrick, who are still hospitalized and being treated for severe burns. Trainers are not covered under workers' compensation plans. There are 2 people who can be here, so we have to speak for them, Moore said. We have to help them. Santa Anita's Vice President of Marketing, Nate Newby, reassured the Horsemen that the more than $555,000 raised through online donations would be distributed entirely to help horsemen, backstretch workers, and horses. A lot of people have called us and asked, where is this money going? Newby said. People are worried about taking care of you guys and your staff, the ones that got hurt. That would be the top priority of that group and the horses. That's where 100 of that money is going to go to. Obviously we have people in the hospital. That's a top priority. The grooms who lost everything, that's a top priority. Also Sunday, the California Horse Racing Board Equine Medical Director Rick Arthur sent out an advisory to horsemen and veterinarians, advising them to monitor horses who are based at San Luis Rey for symptoms of respiratory inflammation from smoke inhalation. Trainers should use caution in returning horses to training that were exposed to smoke and are encouraged not to race horses exposed to smoke at San Luis Rey Downs until after Christmas at the earliest, the advisory said. The advisory also said, if horses from San Luis Rey are entered for races before December 26, they need to have a letter from an attending vet that certifies those horses are unaffected by exposure to smoke before they can race. Pre-race examinations on San Luis Rey horses will also include auscultation of the lungs and airways, according to the advisory. If there is any suggestion of a respiratory condition, the horse will be declared unfit, placed on the veterinarian's list, and recommended the horse be scratched to the Board of Stewards, the advisory said. Horses stabled at Del Mar will also be restricted to jogging until at least December 13. As of Sunday afternoon, 2 racehorses and a small number of yearlings from San Luis Rey were still unaccounted for, although it is unclear if they might be included in the death toll of 46 declared by the CHRB. Many of the horses who died at San Luis Rey have not been identified for various reasons. The 2 racehorses still unaccounted for Packing Heat and Sir Charmelot are both drained by Dan Dunham. According to Jerkins, the number of thoroughbred racehorses stabled at Del Mar is steady at about 260, while horses of other breeds housed at the racetrack has increased to about 600 as of Sunday afternoon.